Hello, everybody. We'll get started just in a moment here. Things labeled correctly here. All right, welcome back to the stream here. This is gonna be my sound design stream, and today we'll be working with Elden Ring Redesign. I decided to stream just right now because I was working on some organizational stuff, and it's actually kind of inspired off of Akash's recent email, which I've been a part of his little a part of his sound design group for a while here. And I realized, I was like, I really have been kind of skipping that step when it comes to my sound design lately. And I really should, actually make sure that I'm, following it to some extent to ensure that I'm properly organized and I'm actually considering that when I'm sound designing. Specifically, I'm talking about, the method that he touches on a lot is with the high, mid, medium, low, and style technique when it comes to sound design. So pretty much you are always, thinking about the highs, the middles, the lows, and then you're thinking about the style, or like the sizzle layer, sometimes people will call it, when you are, designing your sounds. So, and then also you're making sure that you are identifying what sound that you're doing, and then from that sound you're determining, like uniquely, like what does it need for that sound to stick out, if that makes sense. And so you use that little technique to kind of determine that as well. There's definitely more to it, and I think it's in his newsletter, so definitely I would definitely check it out if you can. But yeah, I wanted to work on that, and kind of, especially particularly with my Elden Ring sound design that I'm doing right now. I'm also making a Kanban and a kind of a timeline to wrap this up by the end of this month. I know we've been kind of touching on, I've been kind of touching on it, base by base, kind of way, and not really consistently working on it. So I want to go ahead and get that out of the way and finish it up, So yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm also double checking something to see. Sorry, guys. Second. Give me one moment here. We'll get started just in a moment. Okay. Sorry, y'all. Okay, so yeah, let me go ahead and switch over to Reaper, and we'll just kind of jump into this here. So what I started doing was this is the redesign that we're doing for Elden Ring. We're working on the first ability, which is the Briars of Sin. It's like the thorn bloodish ability that we have, AoE ability that we have. And so what I was doing was I was going through the sub projects first. For like, for instance, I have this labeled as blood swell magic, which I don't think you guys can see my cursor. Let me see if I can switch it so you can see my cursor. But pretty much it says blood magic swell. I'm going into the sub project and I'm pretty much making sure that I have the high, mid, and lows separated properly in each sound source that I'm making. And if I don't have a specific sound source that I'm referencing, I am ensuring that there you go. I am ensuring that I have that put in place. So for instance, I have something that says gore swell, and I tried to like narrow it down exactly that I was more talking about the blood pool that happens before the thorns come out. So that's kind of why I was labeling like as that. And then I went through and I kind of started separating them from style, from lows, from mediums to highs, and also ensuring that they represent that proper frequency as well. Because sometimes it might say that, but then the EQ or something like that is actually not quite accurate. Yeah, so I might be quiet. I might be quiet at sometimes because I'm like listening, but that's overall what I'm doing today right now. Definitely, I'm going to say this was definitely a medium, and obviously you can see that because this is one sound, they're layers on top of each other. But I want to make sure that the layers are separated by medium highs and lows, so I'm always being more aware of that. If that makes sense. Now, I think what I did try to do prior to this is I did, just try to stack them. So it's like highs are on top, mediums next, lows at the bottom, and then style at the bottom, at the very bottom of the sound layering, and that works perfectly fine too. But but for me, I think right now I need to just take a step back and kind of make sure that I'm actually being more aware of that. And sometimes it takes me to label the actual like frequency layers that I want, if that makes sense. But yeah, I know some people don't do this like it like that because technically when you're doing multiple sounds, this could be a lot to do. But sometimes when you're doing a redesign, it's nice to kind of take a step back and just do that. So that's what I'm kind of doing. Now I'm going to switch these over, and I have them kind of in. Oh, I see what's going on here. That's not supposed to be down there like that. I was like, I am going to move the highs back to the top here because hopefully this will all move. There, I hope. I'm hoping. Yeah, there. Usually I do like this highs, not necessary, but for me, I'm kind of focused mediums low. And now that I kind of did this, I can kind of start being like, okay, what needs to be adjusted? Like, what is something that might be sticking out for this? Just a little bit first. One thing I'm gonna turn to the highs just a little bit because I'm gonna where was it at before? -2. I'm gonna take it down to like -4. Take a to subtract 2 dB from it, one step at a time here. I don't want too much of a water sound. I do want more of like a more visceral, more gory like sound, blood sound. Blood is thicker than water, so I want that to sound that way as well. But I think this is more just trying to add some high end. This could technically be defined as style because this is really more just to kind of add some crispness, crispness to the overall sound. I'm also going to take a look at the EQ real quick as well. And what I could possibly do is I could probably take a little bit off the high end. So I'm just going to solo. I can do this. I'm just going to solo track 9 real quick. Now I'm hearing like a bowl sound, which is probably from the recording. I'm gonna Okay, go to mid now here. And this was tricky because it could be debated as his lows, but I think there's a difference between this, which is extremely low. Oh, you guys are not hearing this track, are you? Well, you guys were able to hear this one, right? No, you weren't. Let me make sure that we have the Reeve stream connected here. We do not. There you go. Now you guys can hear it. Sorry. Okay. So, anyways, we went in and just did that real quick. I realized there was also a compressor on the master track. We'll adjust that in this. I was trying to make sure that the higher end sounded high. I wanted to make sure also that the restream was working correctly so you guys can hear it now. What I did was I did add a little bit of a low pass filter on the higher end, just a little bit, because I was explaining how before that since this is blood, I don't want it to sound like water. And this is actually a water sample here, an underwater sample. But I'm going to add just a bit of a low pass filter to hopefully help it sound more gory. And when it comes to blood is thicker than water. So I want that to actually also come out when it comes to the sound. And where we just stopped at was I was saying how the mids sound very similar to the lows, and which I can definitely agree with. And we might need to do some EQing to kind of adjust that. But I think there's definitely a difference between these two because you can hear this, and then we have the underwater bubble sound, but it's definitely more low pass. And the purpose of this layer is just to add some lower resonance to the sound, but not too low. So, and I think for this particular sound, we don't need anything really too low. We just want it to kind of balance out everything. For this here, okay, yeah. So as you can see, one thing I can probably adjust definitely with this is, and again, we can maybe this is, oh, maybe this is debatable actually. I'm gonna try to do something here because I actually don't want it to be low. I do want it to be mid. I'm gonna move it just a little bit. I know this doesn't look great right now. Just bear with me. Back 12. And I want to kind of free up the low pass a little bit on both ends. Hold on. There you go. That's better. I'm gonna reduce the slope on the low pass. I'm gonna keep the high pass this way because I don't want it to seep too much into the lower frequencies. However, it kind of already is because we're at 50, about 75 here. I mean, so what I would do want to try to do maybe is try to, can I increase this just a little bit, like by 4? Yeah. So I'm actually going to copy and paste all these effects, and I'm going to go over to track 13, and I'm going to remove the existing ones there, and add the ones I just edited. Flip out here. Okay. I think it's a, if I do anything, I might actually take down just by, again, I'm going to only do it by -2. I'm going to take down the mids just a little bit. This actually doesn't have an EQ on it, so I actually do want to do that. There you go. We're gonna have a little high, just a small high pass filter, just so there's not too much sub, because I think there's another lower layer, or a much lower layer sound that might be in here. Let's just add the lows, highs, and mids. What? I think this is tailing off a little. The highs can come down more. We'll do this all. We'll do that all of them together though. Just some of the panning too. Yeah, I moved the panning for the highs a little bit minute. In the center, it's just it feels a little bit better. Even though I know I do have a modulator on this, so most of the sound is going to be panned anyways. This is the overall, for the overall blood pool sound effects and plugins list we have right here. We have a modulator already kind of doing some stuff. If I do, I could extend the range and may over exaggerate it. a little bit faster actually. If I there's some, I'm just trying something, so don't judge me. I'm gonna copy the selected one, uh, add another one, but for this one, I want to try to move the center this way, maybe. So it's a 180. It still has to be fast. We slow this one down here just a little bit. That's with the imaging there. Okay. I don't know. What I was trying to do, what I was trying to do there, and we'll see if it works in the context of the whole sound. Oops, excuse me. The whole sound design here is I want to just kind of make it an effect where it feels like it's actually a pool of blood like swelling, and it's in the pool of blood. I feel like in the video is actually kind of circling around, and then yeah, you can see it a little bit. It's kind of like it's circling around and like building up, and then eventually it spirals out of that spirals the thorn. So I want to kind of lead into that a little bit. I know it may not seem like a big deal now, but maybe it's not too much. But oh, let's check the style layer, the sizzle or style layer. This was kind of tricky because I just added just kind of like a little like more. This is actually boiling sauce that I recorded, and I just kind of wanted the crackle of the crackle that you kind of hear from the sauce. So that's kind of why I did that this here. Realistically, what I also should do though is add a saturator. It's a little quiet. Add some harmonics maybe to the saturator. And actually, maybe I'll do this. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna go back on these and literally take out all the mids. I just want the crackle. I just want to see what that kind of, if that really kind of, if it adds anything or if it makes it a little bit too messy. This is the question I want to kind of check here. Yeah, and now we can kind of. I do think now that I've kind of adjusted this, I do think the repitch that I put on here is a little aggressive. Yeah, that actually that feels way better, and because there's some tonality that's coming from I think from the mids. Yeah, just a little bit, and we can. Yeah, okay. And again, this is one layer, so it's not as clear as I would hope for it to be, but I think we're gonna see how we bring everything together. Okay, so this is definitely for the blood pool, and then we have some other layers here that we need to kind of take a look at here. So this is like the little riser effect that we have. Which, mind you, I'm not necessarily a huge fan of it. We'll probably have to come back to that later to change it, to kind of determine what to do with that. But actually, let me take a look at something else real quick, actually, before I get to that rise layer. Okay, yeah, well, let's take a look at this. This is the impact layer. This one that definitely needs to be separated out. All right, so we're going to separate this out just a little bit here. 1 second. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I had a quick call. Okay. And one thing I want to do is that I'm wanting to organize these again because I also feel like I want to make sure that my layers are are clear and have clarity to them too. Because sometimes I think when I duplicate things, I like this layer right here. Like you debate maybe is one layer actually okay, and I'm also realizing that for some odd reason this one's panned, but it doesn't sound like it's panned. There, that's because of the modulation. I see. I'm gonna maybe I should mute. Maybe I should mute those. And actually, maybe for this I shouldn't. Yeah, let me I'm gonna mute the overall. Maybe I should have did it with the last one too, but that's okay. I'm gonna bypass these just for a second to see. And we actually might find that this might be a medium layer actually, because I've definitely just heard a layer that's way more higher frequency than these two. Well, let's just move these over here to medium. I think that that might be the case. Oops. To me, this is definitely a style layer because I could tell that I may have added it because of that, because of the sound of that sponge being squeezed, and I just wanted something to kind of, I wanted that was more of a stylistic choice for me of adding that, not the purpose of actual the base layer of things. I want to move that up to style. Style. Okay. This is a little bit. This was EQ'd a little bit weirdly here. Hmm. I don't like that area of that clip. That's actually better. This is definitely a high layer. Okay, I'm going to also shift that clip of where I started it at for that recording. I didn't like that peak thing. Kind of had some weird frequency sticking out there that I couldn't really EQ. So we're gonna kind of keep that there. Yeah, that one. Leave that extra layer. Oh, I see. I was like, the EQ has to be doing something. That definitely adds a lot of that higher frequency like sizzle I wanted. Again, debatable if this is style, but and actually a good thing I should also try to figure out is what is this layer for? I'm thinking this is for when the spikes come up, I'm assuming. Right? Yeah. So I want to say thorn, thorns embrace. No, let's not be funny. Sorry. That's from League of Legends. I'm gonna say like thorn, thorn rise, maybe? Yeah, yeah. Well, also we'll get into the sound and everything of it too, because I did want the Samoris have a sound of like maybe some stylistic sounds we should maybe consider adding, or some kind of like blade like sheen sound, just to kind of represent sharpness of the thorns, because right now this is not really giving that, right? in my opinion. That's a sub drop. I'm gonna squeeze that there. And this is where it gets tricky because this is okay. So this is a underwater bubble sound. And we pitched it down actually to -8 semitones. I would probably really come off a little bit off of that because even when it's that low, it actually kind of doesn't sound. And it's possible that it's also making it sound a little bit dirty. Maybe I want to low pass it because I'm not really. Well, hmm. I think would it be bad to say that this layer might be actually adding more, not so much clarity to this sound. I think I might be right about that because I'm like listening to this and I'm like, I actually don't want that. I don't want that. Like that sounds like too much underwater. Okay, yeah. So this layer was strictly for. I was looking for something to kind of fill in because there's definitely a mid gap missing, like mid frequency listening. I don't think they're panning it like this way. What's trailing off? Is it this? You a little bit. Is it really you? Okay, now I change my mind. I do think this layer can be really good because it does. It definitely helps fill in like a lot of the empty spots. Now we did bypass the effects, so let's do this one by one here. Going with the compressor first. Now I do think the layers are. Now I think the high layers are a little bit too much now. Except here. We did an event clipper, but I think this one was actually bypassed. We'll leave it in no. That's area imager modulator. I'm gonna try the same trick on that I did before with the other one. I'm gonna try to duplicate this. And then when I want to 80 it, this is already pretty fast, so I'm gonna go like the 10. For this one, I'm gonna go like here. Short in the range. That's just with one. We'll just keep it down. but it also decreased the range again. Like I want the effect that it's panning, but I don't want it to be. I don't want it to be so wide to the point where you can hear it like going back and forth. You know what I mean? So it's a little kiss of panning. I'm gonna add the water layers to the medium. Yeah. Lastly, these here. Okay. And then on with it here. It's the master track. Okay. Might need to take a bit of a ear break, but let's go back to that layer, that impact layer that we had. Back up, yeah. I might need to sustain to the transient shaper just a little bit. I definitely do feel like though that yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do about that riser because I don't, not a fan of it, but it does do okay purpose. I have to come back to that. Okay, we probably have to come back to this anyways because we'll need it. We still need to go do this. We'll do this. Then we'll stop. I do need to add the restream to this one too. Hold 1 second. Okay. I think this was actually pretty good. I feel like it separated pretty well. If anything, it has a lot of higher frequencies than anything in it. Like this is definitely the thorn layer. This is actually the thorns coming up, really actually. If anything, these layers should actually be ducked down. Let's also change out. I don't know if we can all these. Yeah, we'll try that for now. We also might have some duplicate layers because I'm hearing that this part I have. I know it's supposed to represent the blood staff, but we kind of have that similar layer here, right? A little bit. Definitely different, but okay, that thing that I did maybe not such a good idea. This actually, let's just try this. I'm gonna try to extend that real quick. Does feel better though. Overall, I think we'll stop there for now. I won't get into the other thing yet. I'm gonna save that. My ears are actually getting a little tired. Okay, so I think the resolution of the thorns is happening a little bit too late. It's actually to a point, and like I know that there's the staff thing going on, so this is why we have this layer right here. This is supposed to be for the staff, but I feel like this layer right here is actually going on too long. Like it doesn't feel like it's actually for when the thorns are going away. When did the thorns go away? Right here, yeah. Like it should be like right here, and then should stop pretty soon. And then the staff will be on its own thing. And maybe what I'll do, and again, I know this is not with the high mid low frequency style thing, but as I do want to do this real quick, and we'll continue that another. That's panty, but that's okay. I actually went to do volume. Sorry, I know it's quiet for a bit. I was EQing and compressing just a little bit, just so I can make that. Because if this is just for the staff, I wanted to make sure it sounds like it's just for the staff and not for anything else. Yeah, that way I'm panning it because that way it gets out of the way of this, which is going to stay centered. I'm also going to try to use some Melda compressors. The Melda stuff is really looks really nice too. The tricky part is making sure that everything connects, though. You know what I mean? So that, yeah, I want to make sure that the thorns don't just try that. Do you hear that? Pop. It's coming from this one. Oh, it's you. That's my recording. Okay. That's probably why that one didn't go that far. Hmm. I don't quite like that. Let's just move that up away from that. There we go. That'll fix that. Hopefully. This is pretty good. Not perfect. And then the next thing we'll do is the bribes or punishment. Okay. Yeah, I'm like where this ended up for today. We'll stop there. But yeah, I didn't. Well, we actually might actually be on something here. Yeah, we'll set it to, I see. I hear dogs. Yeah, we'll tweak the ambience a little bit more next time. But I think the overall sound design is coming really well. Like I said, I want to finish this off by the end of March, and then I think for the next month or so after March, we'll jump on to some technical sound design, work on some of that stuff there. Yeah. All right, guys, thank you for coming by and saying hi to my little short stream. I know it's not only New War, but I am happy to be getting back into some sound design. Excuse me, and we'll continue doing this a little bit more and plan out for this. But yeah. All right, guys, thank you for coming by, and bye. And actually, later, just this little heads up, later today, I actually might play some LA New War, though, just to kind of get that series finished up. I do really enjoy playing that game, especially for the dialogue and sound and the wonderful sound audio that it uses. So, right. Anyways, guys, have a wonderful day.